Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of my course vlogs. And this time I'm out here in Irvine, California at Strawberry Farms Golf Club. This is a gorgeous course it's a tale of two nines out here. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you back here week after week. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as well, so I know you're out there. Hey, let's head out to the first hole, a par 4. Here we go. Located smack in the middle of Orange County, California, Strawberry Farms here is tucked away in this little canyon, and the front nine is dramatically different than the back. So what we got here is a low-lying front nine playing through this kind of marshland, I guess you could say, and it's going to come into play on nearly every hole. It's going to serve as effectively a water hazard all down the left. Negotiate your drive right down Main Street here, avoid the bunkers down the left and right. And you're going to see that here at Strawberry Farms, the greens are relatively small and very undulating. Teeing off this early in the morning, it is nice to be able to have a golf course with the range open where you can hit some balls before you tee off down the first, and man, it makes that first drive just all the more easier. A smooth gap wedge here from 125, it goes about 135, and it flew its number. The ball was going to be traveling on this day. We got up to about 85 degrees by the time we finished. But here in the morning, you can see it was a little chilly. Jackets were required, and I just couldn't get that birdie putt to drop from 30 feet. A comfy tap-in par to start the day. And number 2 here is a difficult par 4. Off the tee, though, it is a lot wider than you can see, especially if you're playing the black tees. This thing looks like a narrow shoot. But off to the left, the fairway does widen out quite significantly here, giving you plenty of room to miss on the left. Now, this is over 400 yards, so a driver should be in your hands on the tee. The green sits elevated just a little bit. It is a little bit of a drop off on the right hand side, but it's not too protected. You can roll a shot up there if you need to. Now, trying to play the cut again off the tee here, but it didn't really cut. It kind of went straight down the left hand side. Not what I like to see, but the ball was in play. And I had to negotiate this one giant tree here on the edge of the fairway with my approach, but I was able to get it pin high about 25 feet underneath the hole. Hey! The long birdie drops. We're 1 under par, and that's the kind of start we like to see. The third hole is our first par 3 of the day, and you're going to see just how much that wash is really going to come into play. The approach here can bound in from the front of the green. There's plenty of room to bounce it in, but be careful going long. That big bunker in the back is nowhere you want to be. Now here I was playing my 205 club to this 211 middle flag. Didn't quite get all of it, and it just held up on the front edge of the green here. Using the putter from about 50 feet, though, and just trying to lag it on down there for something cozy. I just could not gauge the distance 6 feet under the hole for par, and that just never started on line. Got to take a little bit more time reading these putts. These greens are going to get me today. Now, the fourth hole, we're going to face 2 holes back-to-back, 4 and 5. They're the 2 most difficult holes on the front nine, so hang on tight. It's 2 long and tricky par 4s. The first one here, all the bunkers down the left is telling you air it out to the right. Now, the further you go right, the more distance you're adding onto this already long hole. So, man, you really got to take on those troublesome bunkers down the left-hand side to get a short club into this green that is just heavily protected by too many bunkers. And, of course, we got a back left hole location. Now, since the last drive did not cut, I was trying to play the draw, and, well, it just overdrew a little bit. Down on the next fairway over to the left, I had a blind shot up and over the bushes, but I was able to get a good number from the GPS on the cart and use my laser from a little bit away. got a number, was flag high on the wrong side of the green. You see this putt comes up and over this ridge. I almost had to die the ball on the top of the ridge just to get it close, but I left it in the proper spot. 4 feet under the hole for par is where you want to be. Now this 5th hole, another tricky and long par 4. We're heading back into any kind of wind you're going to be facing on this golf course. It's generally going to be coming from the ocean straight down this canyon. It's a little bit elevated of a tee shot up and over a slightly blind crest in the fairway. All these holes just kind of hump and bump as they go along. There's not really much elevation on this golf course at all. And coming into the green, well, it's heavily protected on the right this time, but there's plenty of room to be able to chase a ball up into this green, and that front hole location is very inviting. Went right back to the cut after the draw was too much and sent this one right back down Main Street. Now, 8-iron generally goes about 175 yards, and I was playing to this front hole location for it to bounce up, but it was soft this morning, and, well, when you hit it left, it's just never going to hit the green anyway. And now you're going to see some of the trouble of my game. The short game just started to go downhill, and, you know, when you hit one chip that way, it just starts to stick in your brain. God almighty. Especially when you can't get the putt to drop to salvage it. Finally, I get to see a par 5. I love to feast on my par 5s, especially if they're under 550 yards. I know I'm going to have an iron in my hand after a good drive. So here, the play was simple. Avoid the left-hand side. No chance I was going to lose a golf ball, and there wasn't really too much trouble down the right for me to deal with. These bunkers were not reachable off the tee, so this is your protection for your layup shot. Of course, you're going to try to avoid the hazard on the left, so there's bunkers on the right to catch those shots. Now, this last bunker we're flying over before the green is elevated and in front of the green, protecting it visually from the fairway in front of it, making any short approaches very tricky. Now, I really let the cut go on this one, headed down the right-hand side and over almost back onto the right-hand fairway. I've now played the 5th hole 3 times with my tee shots between the 4th, 5th, and 6th holes. Every single one of them found this corridor down the middle. But you know what? When you can hit a 4-iron all the way up towards the green, you still do it. Up and down for birdie, but I hit another terrible putt from off the green, and I'm still off the green. And I'm going to putt it again. It just wasn't meant to be, and it was just going to be another 1-inch par putt. This par 3 7th hole is gorgeous, playing down in the marsh. It's going to be a mid-iron for most, depending on the tee you're playing. 187 yards should be a smooth 7-iron for me that I just pushed off to the right-hand side and in the bunker. And you're going to see what happens when me, standing 6'6", has got to crouch down and hit an awkward bunker shot. Getting very, very lucky with that ball to just fly out of the bunker. I can get a putter on this one and hopefully salvage the par. But you can see the severity in the greens here. They're running pure, and that putt rolled out to about 3 feet under the hole, tapped it in for the bogey, and we can head down to the 8th hole, a drivable par 4 for me, sitting 317. That measurements to the middle of the green, so 295 yards to the front edge. That's a perfect shot for my driver with a little cut. It should be dropping right on the 300 to 305 yard number. I had the group in front of us get off the green, and I waited that little extra time that was necessary, and it was time to let it fly. There's just something about these situations that when I can really focus and concentrate, I can hit an absolutely incredible shot. Right to the middle of the green, 30 feet above the hole was a slippery putt, but I just left it 3 feet under the hole, stepped on over and tapped it in for my birdie. And finally, we can head to the closing hole on this front nine. A par 5 sitting 560 yards from a gorgeous tee box that sits all by itself. That black tee box and the view from it is something else. You really can't see anything out there except for the trees that edge the fairway. You got to pick your spot and trust your shot. Bunkers down the left are going to protect any shots that are bailing away from that big hill on the right. And as we approach the green, this par 5 just gets narrower and narrower. You can see the terrain is higher on the right and lower down towards the left. So all the balls are going to want to go down towards the left, leaving a blind approach to this elevated green up on the right. But of course, that tree front right will protect any shots that are perfectly laid up. Now here I thought I played a perfect shot off the left-hand side of the hole, cutting back towards the middle. I didn't find it anywhere, except for in the sand. Not exactly where I wanted to be. Can't go for the par 5 and 2, so we got to have a smart layup here and play the short par 3. 91 yards, lob wedge in hand. It should be a smooth 75 to 80% wedge, and this one was flagged to 3 feet. Another birdie putt, nearly in hand.
Hey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.